climate change is a old man, actually child, actually pregnant mother and woman. They are firstly actually affected, and maximum they are being affected by the climate change, because a man can easily migrate it from affected area to other side, but they cannot actually easily migrate it these areas. Next, please. Sometimes they have to bound to take the shelter on also boat, is a floating boat. So that's why this is the actually no alternative. They are trying to adapt it themselves, living on the boats actually, floating boats. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, this is a girl because her father already left them. So she has no any alternatives. Her mother has no alternative. That's why stop the school and going to the river and water bodies to collect the shrimp fry. And after selling the shrimp fry, they can actually earn some money. By using this money, they can buy some rice actually. Next, please. The old man, how age more than 80s actually. Now he's going to the water bodies for actually trying to fishing some fishes, is a local made net for surviving. Next, please. Next. This is a father and children. They are collecting the drinking water from far away from their places to sell in the villages. This is their occupation. By selling the drinking water, they would like to earn some money, and they are collecting drinking water. I think more than is a 10 to 15 kilometer distance from their own habitat. Next, please. So this is a queue for collecting the safe drinking water. Women are bound to work in the roadsides and other for surviving themselves, because they are husbandless women. Their husband already left themselves, and they are going to other places for searching the occupation or to earn the money. Next, please. Next, please. Please, next show. This is the two sister and brother. Actually, they are trying to trap the crab actually to sell in the market. These are also father left actually. Their father is present, but their father actually left themselves. So that's why they are bound to do this thing, but they are not going to interested to go to the school or next, please. Old woman collecting the fuel leaf actually floating on the river systems. And by selling these things, they are earning some money. I think her age is more than 75, like these things. Next, please. This is an old man. There is no alternatives. No family members are look after him because they already left him. That's why he's just sitting on the roadsides and trying to begging some money. So I think age is more than 90 almost. And this is a Bengali term on signboard is that people has no money. That's why they cannot actually they are facing the different type of diseases and other. They have no alternative treatment facilities. Next, please. That's why they would like to depending on the local actually vegetable. I think that there is some very local made medicine. These are not actually suitable themselves. They know it, but they are bound to use this type of medicine for their different type of diseases. So he's like to be a local doctor. Next, please. That these two old men actually they have no alternatives. They came to this doctor to collect this medicine actually. So they are not able to go to the hospital for safe treatment and others, because hospital is far away from there. Even they have no money to go to far distance. So that's why they just would like to collect medicine from the local market. These are the actually herbal medicine, locally made herbal medicine. Next, please. Next, please. So, by getting some relief for money, that woman actually just set up a small shop. I think that these are the very temporary matter shop, and these are very emergency materials for the people. By selling these things, she would like to survive with her actually son and daughter, because her husband already left her more than 1 years back actually after the cyclone. Next, please. Next, please. And one thing is that after the all kind of considering the all problems and everything, what are happening? People are again trying to survive themselves. That's why some people are actually stocking the ice, sending the ice to the Sundarban and other areas where the people are doing the fishing, supply the ice, and after collecting the fishes, they can sell it the market, they can earn the money. Next, this is one of the surviving new adaptation. Now this is the local made actually trap, fishing trap. By using this thing, they would like to trapping the fishing, doing the fishing local areas, inundated areas, and trying to survive it. Bamboo made actually fishing trap actually. Next, this is another surviving material. Next, please. Next. This is one of the local actually saloon. He is doing the shape that person. One thing is that cyclone is coming, disaster is happening, water logging is happening, climate is changing. But one thing is not stopping. What is this? Our human being, as a human being, our hair, our all beard, these are not stopping. These are growing. But to make the neat and clean, people must go to the saloon, and that person have to do it because he has to survive. So with the climate change, he would like to stop his clearing his beard or to cut his hair, so he cannot look as a good condition. That's why he's trying to survive. Next, please. Next, please. There is a few slides only here. This is one of the festival, is a puja festival period time. After considering the all problems, they are enjoying themselves again. They are trying to survive themselves again by practicing the different religious function and also other activities. Next, please. Next, please. There is a exhibition before, just before the slide, just before slide. uh, no, next, you are going to next, please, before one, before one, please, before one, just before one. Yeah, this is the exhibition. I think that with the festival, they organize the exhibition to survive again, to revive again. They are selling the different materials in the exhibition, which exhibition actually organized in during the different festivals. Next, 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 please. Is that woman actually selling the different type of local made sweets, homemade sweets during the festival time. So I think that these all are the surviving technique, adaptation technique by the local people who are already been affected by the cyclones and climate changes. Next, please. We are going to almost finish. This is the climate change action plan 2009 in Bangladesh, developed prepared by the Ministry of Environment and Forest on the base of six pillars. One is that number one, food security, social protection, and health. Number two, comprehensive disaster management. Number three, infrastructure, embankment, shelter, etc. Number four, research and knowledge management. Number five, mitigation and low carbon development. And number six, capacity building and institutional strengthening. Based on these six pillars, actually, in Bangladesh government as well as the local NGOs and INGOs, they are working in Bangladesh how to adapt with the climate, continuous changing pattern of the climates, and how to survive the people to changing pattern of this present trend of the climate changes. Next is there are some necessary important practices. One thing is that proper repairing of embankments. Next, please. Next, excavation of the for safe drinking water. They have to set a sanitary toilets because during the high tides and waterlogged condition, basement of the all sanitary toilets are going to underwater. That's why by using the earthen material or soil, they would like to increase the basement of the toilets. This is also one of the adaptation. Next, please go to next, please. Sorry, before, just before the slide, this one, actually they are making the safe house, their basement of the house or plinth, they make it a high plinth because during the tidal surge or waterlogged condition, their house will not go to the underwater. And this is one of the traditional house by the aborigines people of the Munda who are living in the coastal area of the Bangladesh. Please, next. Next, please. There is a consultation meeting with the local people in the multi-purpose cyclone shelter developed to take the shelter inside this multi-purpose cyclone shelter. Here is the female room and male room is totally separated. Toilet facilities are separated. There is a basement to shelter the all kinds of domestic animals. As like as that, there is some rooms where the facilities are available, where people can keep their important materials or save their important materials. Even then, there is a all pots are there for cooking the people during the actually disaster and cyclone period in this type of shelter. This is called is a multi-purpose cyclone shelter. Please next. Conclusion. What I just would like to conclude, to mitigate the threats of climate change, we have to do something. Salinity and natural calamity tolerant crop and plant species are necessary, which are actually cultivating in the different locations of Bangladesh and experimented. Next one is that indigenous seedling with main roots need to be used for plantation. We are actually doing the plantation by using some plants. Maximum time we are actually removing their main roots. In that case, those are creating the problem during the cyclone. So we'd like to suggest it to plant the plant with the main root seedlings. Some natural areas need to be classified as habitat of the different plants, like is the Sundarbans. You are the name, which is protecting the Bangladesh as well as West Bengal of the India from the super cyclones which are coming from the Bay of Bengals. And commercial activities need to be prohibited inside the classified areas because to protect those type of natural actually barrier or forest. Next, please. Next, please. We have only one or two slides, maybe. Please. Conclusion. Sorry, just before that one. Conclusion. Please. Next, before that one. Before that one. Before this one. Yeah. No. Next, please. Next. Yeah. So, emergency shelter, safe drinking water, safe drinking water resources, treatment, and sanitation facilities need to be increased. Only local varieties, goat, sheep, and so on must be used for farming. After the disaster, what are happening? Some people are coming, they are supplying the goat and domestic animals to again cultivating themselves. But one thing is that is a southwest coastal area of Bangladesh, especially which area is affected by the salinity. Those area local variety actually goat and cows, those are
हाँ
important
हेलो
because otherwise outside
हाँ बताइए
varieties of the goat and cows cannot adapt it in this climatic
ठीक
condition.
है बता
And saline water shrimp culture practices should
अभी
not be
तुम कर देने
extended
में चाहिए
further because these are creating the problem in these areas. And professional training on the
एनआई से बतिया
safeguard and
रहे
rescue mechanism during disaster are necessary at the local level to remove the people from the local area during the cyclones and also waterlogging conditions. These are happening continuously in Bangladesh. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. Participatory community, no, just before recommend. Yeah. Participatory community management is necessary to climate disaster risk reduction and adaptation issues. We would like to emphasize that community participation and all groups of the people to reduce the climatic disaster risk reduction and adaptation issues, and awareness raising need to be continued among the people on the impact of climate change and salinity intrusion, as well as in the importance of safe wash means is a water and sanitation and hygiene. And another micro support is essential to improve the livelihoods pattern, like I already showed. There's a one lady actually after getting some micro credits, she developed just a small shop for surviving. Next, please. There are just very few recommendations. Yeah, please show it. Please show it. Recommendation. Next slide, please. Yeah, sorry, just before one. Just before one. Just before one. Yeah, this one. To reduce this negative impact on the socio-economic condition, it is essential to launch a local area based weather forecast system through community participation. Second thing is that geo NGOs, local government, microcredit Next slide, please. Yeah, climate change reduction, risk reduction, safe drinking waters, and livelihoods management is that with European country or other country, those are not actually suitable for us because our environment, our local area situation, our ecological condition, our condition is totally different. So we'd like to give the emphasis on the all kinds of the indigenous adaptation mechanism. One thing is that we'd like to say political commitment because not actually identify is happening. They never choose the political issues and political party. That's why I would like to say that all political should parties should be work together in this issue, especially in the climate change. Here, there is no scope for doing any politics, and interministerial coordination is necessary, like Ministry of Climate, Environment and Forest, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Economics, all ministries should gather work for this type of climate change issues. It is not a issue for a particular a ministry. We would like to consider that. As well as also a research is necessary, continuously integrated research for development of this type of issues for especially the adaptation with the climatic condition. Next, please, just finishing. After that, could you go to next slide actually? So finally, so thanks to all. Actually, I'm sorry for that. I think it is a problem of the network. So I think you have seen this mother-in-law and his daughter-in-law. They actually develop a one floating boat-like materials by using only some foam of their house. Just going one place to dry place to wet places with some reeds is a cord which is say a straw for or fodder of their domestic animals. So we are encouraging this type of local made is a adaptation capacity. So finally, thanks to all. After the all is a bothering or I think that inconvenience. Finally, you are helping me to present this paper. So thanks to you for giving me the opportunity to give the presentation. But I'm sorry, I think that is a totally networking problem because you are showing me the slide, but I am not seeing the slides properly. And some photographs is overlapping actually here. So thank you to all of you. If you have any query, I am ready to give you the answer.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for what I should say that it was a very heart-wrenching presentation, which I think all of us, it took us to a emotional journey. And the ray of hope is that the people are adopting to such kind of tough conditions also. So we may have many, many questions from you, but maybe because our next presenter is already here, so maybe we can take the questions later and we will move further. Thank you so much, Professor Chaudhary, for such a nice presentation, the
Okay,
present
thank
condition
you.
of Bangladesh. I want to make him present again. Yeah, yeah. So now our last speaker of the day is Professor A.P. Devery, the director of the Indian Institute of Government of India, Mumbai, and the distinguished professor at the School of Environmental Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, a renowned scientist in the field of weather and climate research. He holds fellow positions in prestigious scientific bodies, including the Indian National Academy, the National Academy of Science, and the Indian Meteorological Society and the Indian Geophysical Union, where he also served as vice president. His career reflects a global engagement with science, including an association with the International Center of Theoretical Physics in Trieste, Italy, and active membership in the American Geophysical Union and the European Geophysical Union. His involvement with World Climate Research Program's Scientific Steering Group for the Global Precipitation Experiments underscores his leadership at addressing global climate change. So now I request Professor Dimri to please share your screen with us and present here. Yeah, you have already been given the permission to share your slides. So, sir, please, Professor Dimri, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I am listening.
Yeah, please share your slides with us, sir.
Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible to all of us.
Yeah, I would request some organizer to steer slides for me.
So we have the slides.
I send a message.
It's the best.
So I'll go ahead. By the time organizer fix this for me.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning to all of you, Professor Srinivasan, Professor Madan, and people, other people. Thanks for giving me this important opportunity. In my clock, it is 4:55 p.m. IST. So I was given 1 hour time, I think, or how much time?
Yeah, yeah. You are the last speaker, so I think you can take your own time.
Okay, so I'll bound by that time. So I believe my presentation is shown to all of you who are listening to me. And in the recent decades, we have seen a lot of climate vagaries, disasters are hitting the subcontinent. Some of the disaster are of the scale that we need to have certain kind of strategy post disaster occurrence. And here I am talking, keeping a climate vagaries and disaster on the platform or the social impact, where they are having various ramification, various kind of impacts in day-to-day life for a common man. And that's what I have listed. And before that, I'll take you, go to the next slide, please. I'll take you to the latest hit or the Wayanad landslide, how the whole two villages have vanished up there, right? And it was a mud lake outburst flood where you have a oozing water after completely saturated, super saturated soil, the mud oozing, and it leads to a kind of slurry, landslide mixed with water. And because of the heavy rainfall, it hit the village in the August first, right? And two villages are completely right off from the region. Exactly 100 years ago, if you see on the left hand side, there is a cutting from a newspaper. It's, I think, Hindu. He reported similar kind of event just 100 years. Calicut, Wayanad, Tiruchirappalli, and various other places, and removed number of Delhi in this current year. We saw that just in the month of heat wave in the May 2024, there are a huge crisis for water, and huge crisis of water led to various kind of conflict fights among the groups, societies, resident societies for the control of water. And few weeks back, June 2024, Delhi receives a maximum amount of rainfall after 1936 in a day. 228.1 millimeter rainfall occurs in a one particular day, and this also impacts the society by leading into without power, inundated road fillings, and even Delhi airport for few hours get impacted on this. Next slide, please. In Nepal, if you see that landslide and flash floods had affected various segments of life in higher mountain villages, massive flood in the Tame village in Nepal's Everest region. This is Glof glacial lake outburst flood has occurred because of the glacier snout melting. You have a frozen lake which grows in the summertime when more water is added on. Malmachi disaster is very famous disaster over the so these are the even Bangalore where I think Tawas regional headquarters is there. You have a lot of problem with water, particularly in a lake, and the interconnected subsurface interconnection of lake is not there. It was made on the Rao's dynasty to store the water in Bangalore and around the region. So lakes are inter. So that knowledge of subsurface interconnection of lake is again one of the important issue which is kind of bringing the impacts on the water crisis and water stress and leading to the water management. Next slide, please. So these events, whatever I'm talking, how we can have a sustainable solution for disaster risk reduction. And here one a very simple scale example I am giving with a extreme hazard storm diagnostics of the cloud burst. Here we see that if you see in the bullseye, maybe in your slide, that bullseye maybe occurs as per as the observation downside it is roughly 200 millimeter rainfall per day, but this event has given a huge amount of precipitation on 13 to 14 September 2024 2012 in central foothills of Himalayas. Next slide, please. And if you look at the left hand panel of my screen, there is a immediately huge GC, we have roughly the within few minutes, seconds time, the clouded amount precipitation has gone very, very high up within a. So now issue is that from where this much amount of water is coming immediately to be dumped over a very small region, and then this once this amount is dumped over that particular region and takes the rivulet local rivulet to come down and it impacts the habitat. So can we have certain kind of solution where that we can control the early warning system and come to that slide. I will request to go to the slide number 9. Most probably you can see how the convective storm has been growing in the time lapse of 600 hectopascal wind vectors, which is flowing this convective trigger flows along the orography, and where it doesn't go horizontal passage to exit, it is stuck up in the cavity of orography and that it grows vertically. So that's what is the time lapse video. In Himalaya, generally average precipitation or rainfall leading to monsoon or western disturbances doesn't go beyond 3000 meter in case of summer monsoon, whereas in case of winter monsoon, because that is 200 an Indian summer monsoon comes from down south and then try to rise over the Indian Himalayan region, and that's what is leads up to roughly 300. That's why you have a vegetation line, you have a snow line, you can say animal species line, you can also say the plant, and so on and so forth. I'll not go in those detail, right? So next again, I'll come to the Kedarnath disaster. I think it's very well known adverse thing happened. I hope I'm syncing with what you are showing to the audience. Is that okay? My slides and my talk are coherence because
Trans-
I'm not controlling the slide. Okay,
I'm not. Acha, this is maybe yeah. Kedarnath is a
which had occurred in 16 16 to 17 June, and accumulated precipitation we have tried to analyze for various regions. And in that, we found that we tried to prove a hypothesis by Pisarati and Mule, which they gave in the 1957 pulsatory extension of monsoon. So, a western disturbance, a freak western disturbance, occurred over the northern latitude during this time, and generally, average western disturbance don't occur at that particular time, but when a freak western disturbance come down at that particular latitude of 35 to 25-degree north, and by virtue of low pressure existing on the north, we have seen that the monsoon trough has been sucked up north much faster, and because of this conglomeration of these two, the most of the precipitation has been dumped over this region. And in the present decade, we say the dancing rain of monsoon, because monsoon's normal pattern sometimes is left by the northward propagation of it, and we see that always it is not the case. I am not going on detail in that. I will request to go to the 16th slide, what was unusual about the storm. I'm not going in the technical derivation and definition. So, what was unusual about the storm is the fastest advance of monsoon when you see the statistical average from 1941 to 2013 on an average, and it reached the foothills of Himalayan region by 15 January 2013, end of season reported by India Meteorological Department. So it's imperatively very critical to assess that how the monsoons pattern are advancing in northern region much ahead of time as per their statistical march propagation is concerned. And second thing is the conjugated effect of the westerlies and monsoon system interacted exactly over the Uttarakhand region. And this is not only the one case. I am reporting one case in recent decades. There are multiple cases which happened over the region, and this interaction influenced the moisture from southeast flow and the WDL that conjugately they dumped over this region, and this low pressure WD was slowly propagating phenomena in that particular summertime, and hence very long time this remained over the region. Next, I am bringing you to the Leh cloudburst region. I will connect to the social implication in the later slides of us. And in the Leh again, we found in the 4th August 2010, there's a lot of cloud debris over the various villages occurred in Ladakh. And in this particular case, why I am showing these cases in particular, dynamically they were look similar, but their scales were different, right? They were convectively driven disasters, but the important point is all these disasters have different amount of accumulated precipitation dumped over the region, and that is the important question comes from where the water has coming to dump over the region. We all know Ladakh is a cold desert region. It has a deficit monsoon, deficit the reason mostly in the winter time, but in summertime monsoon doesn't penetrate so much in. So that's the one reason. So this question, in case of the cloudburst of Ladakh, I am still not, I'm clueless from this much amount has come over the region. Is it come from Jaskar side in front of it, because there are multi village which were hit by this impact of the Ladakh cloud. I request to go to the slide number 20. And now what I want to say is important, that based on the roughly 20-15 years data, we have found that almost there is an increase of 1.6% of 200 millimeter per day precipitation. So the extreme events are increasing. Of course, 1.6% is very less number if you are looking from the percentage point of view. But if 1.6% of precipitation is occurring in the foothills of Himalayas, some odd events which I have shown earlier, these three cases can have this kind of impact over this region. So that is imperatively very important to notice that extreme events are. So that is one I'm telling of the foothills of Himalayas. Now, next slide, please. Now, if you see this scatter plot in next slide, model versus observation. Model is unable to capture dynamics, right? Where you go to the model environment, model is very weak in capturing higher precipitation events, and that is the another problem that dynamics within the uh, model environment is not very apt to resolve the higher precipitation event within the model environment. That is another problem. That's why I want to show that in the rain induced flood in Delhi, which has you have we tried to look into this in Delhi flood, that how this Delhi flood in different modeling combination. I'll not go what modeling combination. So I have 12-kilometer resolution, 4-kilometer resolution, regional prediction system, and then ensemble member. So we run various combination of this. And if you go to the slide number 27, we found in Delhi roughly you have a huge amount of dump happened in 9th and 10th July over the region, and this brought to the very many kind of impact over the region. And that's what is very sad, or rather it's a very unusual to say that accumulated rainfall in Yamuna River from IMERG dataset is kind of, you see that there is a huge kind of, next slide please, 28 number slide. You will see huge amount of precipitation has come to that region. And now what are the Delhi floods impacts? That's a slide 29. The capital city, which receives 153 millimeter of rain on 9 July 2023. It is the highest precipitation in the last 40 years. On the single day in July 2024, what happened? River bank of Yamuna has flooded. Various colonies has to be revoked from there, removed from there, right? Necessary advice. And let me tell you, this one person died. So this is this capital city of country that because of the flooding, one person has died, bridges have collapsed, schools were closed, and roughly Yamuna marked its 45 years high bench over the high flooding river. So these are the few impact region that flooding of Yamuna also resulted surrounding the Red Fort, where river meandering. What we have read that Yamuna used to flow by the Red Fort. Whoever seen Delhi Red Fort, and so forth. 16,000. What I mean to bring the deliberation from this slide primarily is that how social impact even in the capital region and even Bangalore, we have a lot of problem with the river flooding. Sorry, the lake rain flooding in those rainy season, monsoon season. So that is a very peculiar thing. Next slide, slide number 30. It provides us a spatial distribution of glacial lake in the Indian Himalayan region. Roughly till the time of study, it was 4418. I think this study which we did, it is I think 2021 publication, and we found that these are the glacial lake outburst float within the benchmark of the remote sensing data. And we tried to look at the glacial lake typology in the background, and we did a lot of analysis over this region. And we found that there is a transboundary lakes also. If transboundary lakes burst off, how these lakes are going to impact over the region, how many lakes are marine dammed, how many lakes are ice dam, how many lakes are bedrock dam, and so on and so forth. So various analysis we have done, and recently we published also that how the Gulf vulnerability index for downstream habitat is going to work. So that's what I am showing. Next slide, please. And another important event happened in Chamoli disaster in Uttarakhand 2021. And here we have seen that a rock fall 3 kilometer down, and it while falling down 3 kilometer, it comes across the warming temperatures, and by virtue of exposing to warming temperature, the permafrost within this rock fall started melting. It gave the melting, number one. So second thing, when it hits the ground after 3 kilometer fall, there is a microseismic tremors spread over there. Microseismic. I'm not talking earthquake, please. It's a microseismic tremor happened. Few days back, there was a huge amount of snow has occurred. It's a winter time, February. By this shaking, there is the reason. And while doing that, it has to,
अरे
it
पता
has,
नहीं चला ऐड नहीं हो
it
रहा
kind
है
of stopped it, and
हाँ ठीक
it became a kind of a dam,
चलेंगे
the river, small river. And after that, that river has broken this tunnel, and there is many deaths
देख
have
रहे हैं
occurred. Why
इसका
I
है फोटो
want to show this slide, that disaster in the present time is no more
पता है
a unique or singular
हमको नहीं
disaster.
पता है
They
कहाँ
have become a cascading disaster now,
योर
one after
फाइल माय
another, leading to one another.
our
Simultaneously, they are engulfing the disaster in a
commodity
bigger mode.
disaster
So we have to look in the complex, conjugate, or uh, kind of a complex disaster region, and and then we define. Next slide shows that in general how the disaster in case of meteorological point of view are limited, or kind of understanding we have developed how the mortality rates are increasing or different states of India. And we found that another important disaster is lightning, cold wave, heat wave, floods, and tropical cyclones. In case of flood, that's what is my kind of understanding. What we call in the city is got flooded. It's not a conventional flooding which is determined by meteorology or agriculture or so and so forth flooding. It's more so in urban flooding, because a city which is meant for 100 people, there are 10,000 people are coming and living in there, and by virtue of so many population which is not been made for 10,000 of people, and then your exit sewage issues and water exit is kind of a blocked when a high intensity precipitation is coming over any kind of and your city is flooded. So it's more of urban flooding rather than because the exit and discharge is not made clear. Next slide, please. This I'm specifically talking of the changes of precipitation pattern over the Himalayan region. And slide number 34, which shows that how the future changes is going to occur by Indian summer monsoon precipitation change in the in Himalayan region. And we found that in near future 2020 to 2049 in different RCPs. I am not going in the details of RCPs. We are kind of seeing shifting of the monsoonal precipitation from northeast to northwest region. I am showing for over the Himalayan region. In we can see that northeast India will receive lesser amount of precipitation because of monsoon. I'm not going on dynamics why it should be. Most probably it has to do with the warming and lifting the monsoon trough slightly up, and I'll not talk that detail here. And it's shifting, and that is the reason we found a lot of flooding happening in Rajasthan, Banaskantha, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, and so forth this recently. And then in this western region, flooding is imperatively linked to very less amount of precipitation because of the whole longer time of average over the warm desert region. Then next slide, future projection for temperature. Temperature are increasing. There is a different way of increasing of the temperature over the region, different seasons. In fact, I would say that in monsoon time, temperature increase with elevation. Particularly, I'm talking of the elevation dependent warming. How the elevation dependent warming is occurring over the Himalayan region from the foothill of Himalaya to higher up in the Himalayan region. And warming is not similar. Warming rate at the higher elevation of the Himalaya is more than the lower elevation. I again repeat, warming rate, not the warming, please. So warming rate in the higher elevation is more. It's likely that higher elevation is going to be drying more and more than the lower elevation. Monsoon or any kind of moisture is not reaching there, and we have found
हेलो हाँ बोले चाहिए दीदी ठीक है, तो ठीक है।
changes interaction in the plant
ठीक है,
species,
रूम पर छिए।
and pine is taking over the oak. Pine is less intensive crop,
हाँ, नहीं,
not
ठीक
crop,
छिए।
I would say tree or plant or forest. Oak is so
हाँ,
oak is more water intensive,
ना, ना,
and hence
ग्रुप में
by
नहीं छिए।
virtue of that, oak is kind of getting depleted, and pine is taking
हाँ,
over
मोती में
the
वही
oak. So
साइंटिस्ट
local
वही नहीं छिए।
micrometeorology is changing. Change of micrometeorology towards drier forest
ठीक है, ठीक।
environment will lead to the most forest fire. Because
हाँ,
of this, animal species will migrate up
हाँ,
to suitable locations. So these impacts of warming will be seen. With a specific example of Uttarakhand, slide number 36, monsoon
ठीक।
rainfall is kind of trends. If you look at that, we found that monsoon rainfall trends are is increasing in the eastern side. Why I'm
बस,
taking
बस चल रहा
a smaller region over Himalayan region? The Himalaya
है। हाँ,
region changes are not uniformly over these regions because of Himalayas cascading of the in Western Himalaya you have
प्लीज
a
लेफ्ट
Pir
एंड क्लिक सर।
Panjal, Ladakh, Gate Himalaya, Ladakh, Janskar, Ladakh, Karakoram, and
था तो
this
सबको ले
for
जाने
central
सकते हैं।
Himalaya you have kind of a two-step topography happens over the Nepal region, Uttarakhand Nepal region, and then eastern Himalayan region you have a Khasi Jaintia hill
हम्म?
which is intersecting the long running Great Himalayan range at 90 degree, and then you have a Silang plateau also. So this complex topography's interaction is the riding Indian monsoonal precipitation dynamics determines that what kind of precipitation pattern is going to occur over this Himalayan region, and there is a lot of orographic interaction happens, and accordingly the monsoonal precipitation is reported over this occurred over this time. Slide number 39, it's a forest fire. That's what we are showing here. There is a two timeline we have picked up from the shots from satellite in 2002. If you look on the left panel in my screen, and if you look at the 2019 panel in Uttarakhand, limited to Uttarakhand, we find that there is a almost 10 times increase of forest fires occurred in 2019. So you see that in 10 years time your foothill of Himalaya is kind of getting more these intense extreme events. And I also tell you, if you look at carefully in this slide, you will find most of this forest fire is within the band of 1000 meter to 2000 meters. They are not beyond 2000 meters. So this is very critical because most of the convective or diabetic heating for leading to the forest fire is increasing over this region, and it has a huge problem in the summertime where forest department, local villagers,
हाँ,
local heads of villagers have to
हाँ,
do a lot of exercise
हम्म,
for this purpose.
हाँ,
Next slide, please. So, what is the water storage we have available in the Himalayan region? We found that which Western disturbance is providing 60 to 80% of winter precipitation to Pakistan and North Indian region.
देख रहे हैं यही साला
And
गायब हो
as I
गया,
told
बड़ा
just
दिक्कत है
few
दुनिया
slides back, that Indian summer monsoon is
में।
also
गायब हो
kind
जा
of
रहा है हमारा।
bringing more amount of
अब
precipitation in
साला ऐसे
western
ही लेके
side
इसको बंद
and
नहीं कर
drying
सकते
the
हैं, ऐसे ही खुला
comparatively
रहता
northeastern Indian side. Then you have monsoon distribution, precipitation, and winter precipitation changing over this region, and hence you have a water security issue will come to
है।
the
रुकिए,
major
हमको जाने दीजिए,
basins
तब
of
बंद कीजिएगा।
Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra is a dynamics is entirely different with the Indians, but major
अब बंद
land
कर दीजिए।
Indus which supports to the India and Pakistan, and the Ganges which runs whole through the northern heart of the India. So that will have a huge impact in the changing pattern of this. And next slide, there is a kind of a increased activity in late Holocene and a decrease in the Roman and medieval warm period is happened, where there is a drying or increase in precipitation happened in various timeline in the history regarding the precipitation, winter precipitation I am talking only. Next slide, please. Slide number 42. We have tried to count Western
आप बंद कर
disturbances
दीजिए।
record by observational record using in the weather bulletin. We, since we have now reanalysis data available, we looked into the tracking because of the dynamics of the pressure and try to link with the meteorological proxies to determine the
Thank you
winter
so much.
precipitation in the past, and roughly from 1950
ठीक
by
है अब हम
various
चलते हैं
methods. This list shows that how different researchers has tried to provide the dynamical character of the WDs based on their indices for WD representation. Next slide, please. WDs can be hazardous. Apart from giving precipitation in the form of snow and liquid over the northwest Himalayan region, or even sometimes they go deep down to the northeast region, they are WD has a more margin of meridional oscillation within the subtropical jet, and hence the subtropical jet at times, even in the winter, is passing over the Indian subcontinent. And these are the WDs, freak WDs, which I was talking in my previous slide. These freak WDs are those WDs which turn over the northern Indian region, and so those get associated in with Indian summer monsoon and provide disaster. And the light lower slide shows the conglomeration of track of the WD over this region. And slide number 47, where we found that active WDs are defined as those resulting in top quartile of HKH precipitation. Here we are kind of classifying, I would not say exactly classifying, but in this work, what we tried to see that how active WD we have to define, how much precipitation has to be defined, and these few these few slots tell based on the WD frequency, lifetime, latitude, mean latitude path, mean jet stream. We have shown that tell you I forgot to bring that slides. Interestingly, all the WDs do not precipitate. So this notion has to be made clear. WD is low pressure system. But we found in recent work that all the WDs do not precipitate. Only some of the WDs precipitate, number one. And second thing, over the Western Himalayan region, we found in last
क्या
one
हाल है
decade, non-WD precipitation is also increasing. And we tried to look at the region. We found a kind of omega kind of situation in the free atmosphere gets filled, where you have a low pressure in the middle and two omega blobs are high pressure system, and this low pressure sucks the moisture from the Bay of Bengal, and this yields over the non WD precipitation region. Slide number 48, right? So we have a strong linkage with NAO. It's proven. Video is not that exposed yet to understand, because decadal oscillation and WD is kind of a not yet. And then there is a kind of a diverse opinion about the WD's role with the ENSO. Some people agree on the sign up of WD versus ENSO, and other ENSO versus WD. So these are kind of a two different thoughts of running on WD. So next slide, slide number 49. Here we are talking of how the El Nino increases winter precipitation over the region, and subtropical westerly jet middle slide shows that there is a subtropical westerly jet which are happening for further south during the region, and below shows the WD closer to the Arabian Sea, drastically increasing their moisture intake. So moisture and precipitation are, surely I'm not telling very great thing, are two different things. But then when we say that, we found that
There's
in
no
case of
slide.
Himalayas, the precipitation forming mechanism also is very, very important, where the precipitation forming mechanism in the Himalayan region is primarily more than the convective in the summertime. There is a lot of interaction of the orography which is happening, and based on this orography, you have a determinant of the precipitation forming amount. We extensive next slide, please, slide number 50. We here we are kind of picked up few WDs specifically, and we try to look at WDs for a forecast point of view, how accurate we are in the sub-regional basin, and we try to link it with the dust storm, thunderstorm, heavy rainfall, winds, visibility, and this huge analysis we have tried to provide for the purpose. Next slide, please. Slide number 51. This gives another very interesting flip to the WD climatology or WD analysis. We found that WDs, when they are traveling towards us, well, Western disturbances word is given by Professor Fisarati in 1952. 1943, it was winter disturbance, and then Western, so we call it West because Pata Basin is traveling from west. So when it's traveling, it hits the Pamir region first. And there is a kind of determinant. Some of the WD goes north of Himalaya, and some of the WD just came in the southern rim of the Himalayan region, right? So they are following the southern rim of Himalayan region, and there are a different track, different kind of dynamics. We are looking now, we have not yet seen that, what is the reason, because WD, as I said, 200 hectopascal phenomenon. So what determines that some WDs move north and some WD move south towards Himalayan region? So what dynamically the loading of these WDs which lead to this split in the western disturbances over these regions, and there is a kind of a change of seasonality and increased risk of monsoon interaction, primarily if these WD patterns which keep coming over these regions, and hence we have a more rare slide number 53, please. Once we have a rare WD in April and May, initially we are finding somewhat a common. We find more western disturbances coming over this region, and secondly, climatologically there is a shift of number of WDs which are moving towards March and April. Earlier we used to have WD in case of December, January, and March and April. Slide number 55, please, where we are telling how these WDs are yielding precipitation over this region, and based on these regions, how this kind of impact at the local dynamics is provided. So I would request organizers to go to the 62, slide number 62, where I'm now trying to bring in a kind of first the conjugate of the precipitation because of the western disturbance. I don't want to go in detail on rest of the slides. Of course, they are linked to the water stress and water folding like GLOF, glacier movement, glacier dynamics. So do WD occurs in a cluster? What is the best way to classify in a dynamical manner? What are the impacts? There are a lot of socioeconomic losses associated with WD activities. There is still some link with WDs and cold wave, because in winter time, northern Indian subcontinent goes through under a lot of cold wave pressures. Nor'westers, Kara-Baisakhi in the eastern side of this, avalanche forcing because more amount of precipitation is coming, and how this water management can be done. Teleconnections, climate, which we have seen. Why do paleoclimatic records disagree so much? What role do WD plays in the Karakoram anomaly? Though I don't agree it is an anomaly, I have tried to explain, we should not call it anomaly, because anomaly means it gives a sense that it's not following that the climatic condition for those glacier region where it is happening is such, the physical processes are such, it yields to either stable glacier or kind of increased mass over this region in Karakoram. I'm not debating it here now. So application of tracking methods, slide number 62, how we can do it, relation it with some teleconnection increasingly better understood or not. Pamir bifurcation, we are working on that, how the Pamir bifurcation of this WT is leading, and then picking only on those WTs which are traveling to the southern rim of the Himalayas from the Indian water management, how this can help in the crop. We have to review that. Then at last, 64, slide number 64, IPCC-R6 has this very strong statement. Synthesis report scientifically reinforces India's position on the historical responsibility of developed countries for restricting the carbon budget and excessive emission, historical emission contributing to global warming right from 1715, and climate change. Particularly, that is the word I wanted to pick up, that if it is help for the sustainable development, lifestyle pattern, and so on and so forth. And then how disaster, next slide please, how these disaster risk reduction to preventing new methods, early warning system, managing residual risk, and strengthening resilience, and needs to be a new guideline for sustainable development. And then annotation, disaster risk reduction is the policy objective uh, to manage the disaster, how disaster has to manage in case of, I think, tropical cyclone, national disaster agencies are able to manage it, but still in case of forest fire, lightning, heat wave, this year we saw heat wave impacts, there is still a kind of more kind of framework has to be seen for disaster risk reduction. And in next 15 years, expected outcome is possible. Another is disaster risk management, because these all the extremes which we saw here need to be managed for contributing the strengthening of resilience and reduction. That is the second last slide for me. And last slide, I thank you for the patience listening and inviting me for this important conclave. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was such a wonderful presentation with a lot of data. I think we should give you 2 hours the kind of data you have shown us. Because I think 35 minutes or 40 minutes are not enough for the presentation. It was such a insightful and a lot of information. So please, just one or two the audience, our young researchers. Someone has raised hand. Jamil. Nadu. Yeah, Nida, can you ask yourself and please, Dr. Niga?
It's okay if there is no question, right?
If there are any question, you can please type on the chat box so that we can share it with Professor Dimri and then he can answer. Yeah, please, sir. Professor Shrestha.
Yeah, I think I'm not seeing Dr. Dimri here, but I think.
Oh, you cannot see me? Why?
No, I cannot see you.
Your camera is off, sir.
No, my camera is perfectly on. Anyway, we met couple of times, so you need not to see me.
No. Maybe I wanted to see how much you have changed. Dr. Dimri, yeah. Dr. Dimri, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation. But unfortunately, we couldn't see, many of us couldn't see the slides except one or two. So I think it would be very unfair in your part or in my part to comment on that one. But I would like to, because these are very interesting features, about the interaction of this, this Western disturbance and how the Western disturbance is changing. And because it has a lot of implications to this region. But I would like to request if you can send me, because it will be difficult to send the PPT, but if you can send the PDF, I think I would be very happy to look at it, and maybe we can chat via email.
Okay, thank you. You can listen to me, right, Professor Shrestha?
Yeah, I am. Your
Okay.
your voice is perfectly fine, but with no slides. That's the problem.
But I requested organizer to flip the
So
slides.
maybe there is some problem somewhere. But anyway,
Okay, so I'm sorry for that because I was not controlling slide, because I know a lot of time. I also face a lot of time gets wasted
yeah.
in the slide sharing. So mostly I submit slides to organizer to flip it for me. But I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
it happens. It happens sometimes. It happens
So
sometimes.
I would request organizer. I would request organizers to send my slides to all the speaker whoever want them. It's okay
Yeah,
for
sure.
me.
Sure,
And
sir.
Thank you.
yeah, so I'm sorry, Professor Sista.
No.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. No, it happens because it happens.
Yeah, this online
Okay.
online is always a problem because
Yes.
we were able to see the slides on our screen, but I
I
wonder
see.
why it was not shown to the audience because we were able to
I see,
change
I
the
see.
slides in our
Okay.
And also my face is not visible to all.
yeah, it's just dark. It's
Yeah.
just dark.
So I don't know why it is that. Okay. And then read a question by Professor Miftah ul Safiq. I read the question first. Dear sir, any specific reason why WDs are not translating into precipitation nowadays, especially in December, January in Western Himalayas? So, Professor Miftah ul Safiq, actually, yeah, it's a very relevant question as far as the crop and all this in Western Himalayan region. There's a nut, apple, and those crops are getting impacted because of this shift of precipitation in December, January is not happening, and also December, January precipitation, which used to be in the solid form, snow form, it is translating to the liquid form, right? So the water retention in a solid form in earlier winters were longer, which is not the case now. You have a liquid precipitation which immediately gets trickled to the Jhelum basin, and you don't have the storage of water in the form of snow, which is needed from these kind of horticulture and agriculture crop for uh, region. Now, why this is happening? Again, this environment is getting warmer, and hence the densification of the precipitation type in the microphysics label is not letting this snow to form in a vertical, because the density is just water and solid density. There is a calculation. If you look at the Clausius Clapeyron, you can understand that, and hence most of the precipitation which is happening in the winter time, December, January, is also getting in case of in term of the liquid precipitation. So that is kind of a very important observation done by other researcher and a few of my groups also. So I hope I could make some clear some of my. Thank you, Professor Miftah. So if nothing else, then I thank you again. And I can see Professor Srinivasan after a long time. How are you, sir? I'm sorry.
Please unmute yourself.
Dr. Dimri, I cannot see
Sir.
you, but your voice was very clear and we heard you very clearly, but we couldn't
Sir.
see the slides. So
Sir, sorry, sir.
I will look at your slides in detail and respond to you by email.
Sir, I will send you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So thank you very much. And I can take permission to leave now.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you once again. And now I would like to request Professor JS to conclude the session with closing remarks from his side.
Jayashree, I feel that this session has gone too long due to technical problems. I do not want people to spend more time. They have spent already more than 3 hours. So I want to thank all the speakers and all the participants for taking part in this program. And I hope we'll figure out why the technical problems came up and make sure next time it doesn't happen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So now,
Okay.
if there is nothing more from Vivian side, maybe we will probably.
Thank you all.
All the young scientists participants, if they have any question, please do write on the chat box, and we will share your question with our speakers and expert members. Then they can answer, and we will share the answers also, answer sheet also with you. Please do write your.
Right.
Ma'am, our humble request is that if it's possible, kindly share the PPTs of the worthy speakers as well, if it's possible, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes.
In our emails, ma'am, kindly please, if it's possible, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it will be done.
Be patient.
Okay, thank you all. I think we must leave now. It's already very late. So
Okay, I think thank you. Yeah.
very nicely organized everything.
Have you any query about my presentation? I am Harun from Bangladesh.
Okay, so we are also screen getting stuck in between.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, so thank you so much. Yeah, at last I would like to thank Professor J. Srinivasan and our.
हेलो
ए बाबू तेरा पास स्ट्रीमर है ना?
ट्रिमर
हाँ
हाँ है
दाढ़ी को काटना है दाढ़ी को।
हाँ अच्छा ठीक है ला लेते हैं
चार्ज है ना?
हाँ ओकर लगा के यूज करे के पड़े है
अच्छा लगा के।
हाँ 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 ठीक है ठीक
Yes, it's a product. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes,
And je suis en train de travailler dessus. D'accord.